I was 8 months pregnant when my world collapsed. My husband, the man who promised to stand by my side, simply left. And worse, he left to be with my neighbor, 10 years younger than me. The pain was so deep that, for days, I could hardly breathe. But against everyone's advice, I forgave him. I thought the love and family we had built were stronger than betrayal. 2 months later, the truth crushed me again. He was with her once more. Have you ever wondered how far it's worth forgiving someone who has already destroyed you once? If you like exciting story with surprising twists in the end, subscribe to our channel and leave your like. My name is Haoun, and this is the story I never thought I'd have the courage to tell. When I married Ji-hoon, I believed we had an unbreakable love. He was attentive, caring, and a dreamer. We made plans for the future, laughed at the small things, and promised to face any storm together. Everything changed the day I found out I was pregnant. Instead of joy, I noticed a strange distance in him. At first, I thought it was the natural fear of becoming a father, but over time, I realized there was something more. He came home late, avoided conversations, and his phone never left his pocket. It was on a rainy afternoon that the cruel truth came to light. My neighbor, So-yeon, showed up with a victorious look. She didn't need to say anything, but she did. "I thought you should know. Ji-hoon is with me now." Her words cut like blades. The world spun. With my hand on my belly, feeling the little life growing inside me, I tried to understand how the man who promised to protect me could abandon me for someone 10 years younger. The days that followed were a blur of tears, pain, and silence. My family tried to convince me to forget him, but I still loved him. And when he showed up weeks later, asking for forgiveness, saying it had been a mistake, that he couldn't live without me, my weak heart believed. I took him back. For love, for fear, for believing that a child needed their father around. I thought we could start over. I thought love, though wounded, could heal. But 2 months later, fate proved me wrong. One afternoon, I went to the market and on my way out, I saw it with my own eyes. Ji-hoon, holding hands with So-yeon, laughing as if nothing had happened. The shock froze me, and then came the fury. That night, I waited for him to come home. "So this is it?" I asked with a trembling voice. He tried to deny it, tried to make excuses, but I was no longer willing to listen. In that moment, something inside me changed. I decided I would not let my child grow up in a home where lies and humiliation were routine. The next day, I packed my things, gathered what little I had, and left. I didn't look back. While I was learning to survive on my own and take care of a baby who hadn't even been born yet, Ji-hoon continued his life with So-yeon. I suffered in silence, but each day I grew stronger. Years later, my life had changed. I had my child, a stable job, and peace. And then the past knocked on my door. This time, asking for charity. But that is something you will understand in the next chapters. If you want to know what happened when he came back into my life, keep watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because many people are watching but not subscribing. Your subscription helps me keep bringing real and emotional stories like this. The first months away from Ji-hoon were the hardest of my life. I didn't have a permanent place to live and stayed temporarily at my sister Mi-jin's house. She had always been my rock, but even so, I felt ashamed to be there. Pregnant, abandoned, and trying to hide the pain behind weak smiles. I worked until the very last day my pregnancy allowed. Even with swollen feet and constant pain. I needed to save every penny for when my baby arrived. At night, alone in the small borrowed room, I would caress my belly and promise that he would never lack love, even if he grew up without a father. When Jae-min was born, my world changed. His cry was both a challenge and a relief. I knew I no longer had the right to break down. Every feeding, every sleepless night, every fever taught me that being a mother was about resisting even when all strength seemed gone. Time passed quickly, but the scars of betrayal remained. Sometimes, I would see Ji-hoon and So-yeon in the neighborhood. They looked happy, flaunting a life that had once been mine. I told myself I didn't care, but deep down, each sight of them was like a fresh wound. 2 years later, by chance, we met at a bakery. I was holding Jae-min, and Ji-hoon froze as if he'd seen a ghost. He's my son, isn't he? He asked, almost in a whisper. Yes, but you gave up that right the day you left me, I replied firmly. He tried to get closer to say he missed us, but I realized it wasn't true remorse, it was just a bruised ego. I carried on with my life and kept him away. Ironically, time is relentless, and happiness stolen doesn't always last. 5 years after everything, I heard rumors that his relationship with So-yeon was in crisis. At first, I ignored them. But then I saw it with my own eyes. She was walking with another man. I later learned she had left him for someone wealthier. Ji-hoon lost his job, sold his car, and began living off favors. And that was exactly when he knocked on my door. It was a cold winter night. I opened it, and there he was, his face marked with exhaustion, worn-out clothes, and an expression mixing shame and hope. Hound. I have nowhere to go. Forgive me. Let me come home. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of years of bitter memories. He expected to hear my yes, perhaps thinking my heart was still the same. But I was no longer the woman who accepted crumbs. Ji-hoon. This house belongs to me and our son. And there's no room here for someone who left us when we needed them most. He lowered his head, as if finally understanding. But he still tried. I've changed. I can take care of you now. You haven't changed, Ji-hoon. You've only lost everything. And that's what brought you here. I closed the door slowly, not out of cruelty, but because I had finally understood that dignity is not negotiable. That night, looking at Jae-min sleeping, I realized my greatest victory wasn't surviving without him. It was becoming a woman capable of saying no to a love that only existed in my memory. The days after I closed the door were silent, but my mind never stopped racing. I knew the story with Ji-hoon was far from over because when love is marked by so much pain, it leaves scars that are hard to erase, on both sides. Even though he had abandoned me, I still felt a confusing mix of anger, sadness, and a hint of longing. Loneliness made me remember all the good moments we once had. The smiles, the plans. But now, everything seemed like an illusion. A few weeks later, I received an unexpected message. It was him. Simple, direct, as if nothing had happened. Hoon, I need to talk. Please hear me out. My heart raced, but my pride stopped me from replying. I knew talking to him would open an even deeper wound, and I wasn't ready for that. However, curiosity was stronger than reason. I decided to meet him at a quiet cafe where we could talk without being seen. When I saw him, he looked like a different man. Tired, yes, but with eyes carrying a weight I had never seen before. He spoke of regret, how life without me and our son had been an unbearable emptiness. He told me how So-yeon betrayed him, left him, and how he fell into a spiral that almost destroyed him. I listened silently, my heart tight. Was he being sincere? Or were they just empty words to try to manipulate me? When he asked for one last chance, my body trembled. But the voice inside me was firm and clear. No, Hoon, not anymore. I had already rebuilt myself alone. The love I had for Ji-hoon had turned into something different. A strength that made me value my dignity above all else. That afternoon, when he left the cafe, I realized life was giving me a hard but necessary lesson. True love doesn't hurt, doesn't abandon, and never asks for a second chance to make the same mistake. I was no longer the woman he left behind. I was Jae-min's mother, a whole woman, ready to start over without looking back. But what the future held for us was yet to be written, and you'll find out in the next chapters. The reunion with Ji-hoon brought back memories I thought were forgotten, and emotions I swore had died with time. But fate, with its cruel irony, decided to bring someone from my past, someone I never thought I'd see again. Min-jun appeared when I least expected it. A childhood friend, an innocent love left behind when life took me away from dreams and into a marriage marked by betrayal. He came back into my life like a breath of hope, a reminder that there was still love that didn't destroy, that didn't abandon. Min-jun was the opposite of the man who left me. In the days that followed, I found myself torn between the past and the present, between the love that hurt and the love that could heal. But the body, that silent enemy, soon demanded its price. A strange fatigue, a low fever that wouldn't go away, and a persistent cough began to take hold of me. Even weak, I tried to hide my illness so as not to worry Jae-min. But the truth was impossible to conceal. Ji-hoon, no matter how much I tried to push him away, showed up to take care of me. He didn't say much, but his actions spoke louder than words. He brought medicine, made tea, stayed awake through the nights, worried about my condition. I saw in his eyes a mix of regret and something I couldn't name. Maybe fear of losing me forever. While I fought the illness, past and present collided inside me. Min-jun tried to be my support, a constant presence that brought comfort and calm, but Ji-hoon insisted on being there, even when I didn't want him to. The battle wasn't just against the disease, but against the conflicting feelings that threatened to destroy me. I needed to decide which path to follow. What made me happy, or what gave me security? And meanwhile, the clock didn't stop, and life went on its unpredictable course. That winter seemed colder than ever, but inside me, something began to bloom. The illness that nearly broke me served as a turning point. Between the weakness of the body and the strength of the heart, I discovered a truth I had long tried to ignore. I deserved to be happy. Min-jun stood by my side like never before, showing a love that was true, quiet, patient. He didn't want to replace the past, only to build a future where I could smile again. Ji-hoon, on the other hand, finally understood that love isn't a second chance in a repeated story. It was no longer about him. It was about me, about my son, about the woman I had become. One afternoon, Min-jun took me to a hidden garden, a place where flowers bloomed even in the cold. There, among colors and scents, he asked me the question that would change everything. "Hoon, will you accept to build a life with me? Not perfect but true?" The silence that followed was the most beautiful I've ever heard. I looked into his eyes and saw the sincerity I had never had before. It was not just love, it was respect, companionship, a new beginning. And at that moment, I understood that forgiving does not mean going back to what hurt me. Forgiving is freeing oneself, making room for the new. With a light and hopeful heart, I said, "Yes, Min-jun. I accept." The sun shone brighter that day, as if the universe was celebrating with me. Ji-hoon disappeared from my life like a chapter that was necessary to teach me how to truly love. And I moved forward, with Jae-min and Min-jun, building a family where love leaves no room for lies. Life is made of choices, of courage to leave behind what harms us, and of opening our arms to what makes us grow. Today, I am the woman reborn from the ashes, who overcame pain and chose happiness. And you? Are you ready to leave the past behind and embrace the future you deserve? Looking back today, I see that life is a road full of curves. Some hurt us, others make us grow. Haun shows us that forgiving is not forgetting, but learning to love yourself first. And you, have you ever faced a situation where you had to decide between going back to someone who hurt you or moving forward and loving yourself more? I want to hear your story. Leave your comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and share this video so more people can find the strength to start over. Many watch, but few subscribe. And that makes all the difference for us to keep bringing real and emotional stories like this. Thank you for being with me until here.